Mulgravian Ventures is a private company that will be used as the nucleus for a new reporting issuer. With Mulgravian Ventures, we have formed 4 joint ventures. Black Banana, which was the initial one last December, the Guyana Shield package, which was announced in the spring. The Wana Reese and Wazawaki packages are all part of that large group of things. Also, we have the 5-star property, which we recently announced. Spectacular projects, lots of exploration history, drill-ready targets, very, very exciting alluvial operations, and also 2 more projects which aren't in the public eye yet, which will be important as we continue to prepare for our plan of arrangement. There's a lot more on the horizon, and we have to be a little careful about what we say when, but we're quite confident that the growth model will continue. This map shows the geology generalized and where the important targets in our portfolio are. This is typical granite greenstone terrain in northern Guyana. It's important for the investing public to be aware of how these projects relate to some of the better-known, perhaps more advanced projects in the region. You can see the location of Million Mountain, Aurora, Toroparu, and the historically productive parts of Venezuela. The entire region is highly prospective, and we've gone through this with a fine-tooth comb with a lot of experience, and we've picked up ground that we felt was reasonably priced, that we could market into the joint ventures to provide us with leverage for what we knew. We continue to do this. There are more on the horizon, and these opportunities, as we bring them in, will provide us with continuing growth and continuing joint venture and funding opportunities. This figure shows the location of the Maple Creek Pajaro licenses. If you look carefully at this map, you'll see where the Omai mine is along the trend, the IM Gold Eagle Mountain project, and some other areas which are well known as being productive, including the Madia Gold District. This is a highly prospective area with good road access and infrastructure. We spent about $2.5 million since we got started looking at this district, developing geochem targets, preparing to drill it, getting organized for the next round of acquisitions. We like the district a lot, but at this time our business model specifies that having groomed it nicely, we should put it into a joint venture. That joint venture will be negotiated over the next few months, and it will just add some additional funding to our growth model. This slide shows the distribution of the geochem anomalies and the geology and where we've identified gold, diamond, and PGM values in a systematic survey over the southern part of the property. The whole area is covered by white sand, and these surveys have given us good indications of where the best targets are. The next step will be deep penetrating geophysics and drilling. It shows us where on the mag surveys some of the geochem shows up. Well-defined northeast trending structures, well-defined northwest trending structures that cross-cut them, and well-defined anomalies associated with these major features and their intercepts. Slide 20 shows us where we've accumulated our holdings in northwestern Guyana from the Guyana Shield package, the Black Banana package, and the 5-star package. It also shows for reference where some of our neighbors are working, IM Gold, Newmont, and the successor companies to Strata Gold and Victoria Gold. This is one of the hottest parts of Guyana right now. There's a lot of alluvial mining activity. There's a lot of interest. The regional government geochem surveys have shown that this is some of the most endowed areas in this region. And as it happens, we are familiar with these rocks from our experience in Venezuela and the logical extension from the major targets at Aurora and Toroparu. This is high-quality ground. It came to us on very reasonable terms, and it's all part of the Mulgravian joint venture so that we don't need to invest our funds in it as we develop it. It's all just opportunity for us. This slide shows the geological setting and a magnetic signature for the Otomung licenses, which are contiguous with the package of claims at Toroparu. You can see their proximity here to some of the regional structures, the Aurora discovery and the Toroparu discovery. This is part of the portfolio from Guyana Shield. We're working our way through this transaction now. The next stage is to go in here and do systematic geochem and drilling. It's all part of this mix, and we're setting our budgets and scheduling our activity as we speak. Mulgravian Ventures is a series of structured joint venture agreements that ultimately bring us money from above-market placements, and they bring us opportunity because we end up with generally 49% of these opportunities. They're exciting opportunities, and in a better market or in a better situation, we'd probably just form companies around them ourselves. What we're doing instead is we're exposing our shareholders to these opportunities and letting Mulgravian take the technical risk. This is a magnetic map showing the Wana Black Banana 5-star project area. what I need to point out to the investors is the distribution of some geochem anomalies that are here on these maps. The mag shows us the bedrock below tropical cover. If we look in detail at the black banana, the Iguana, and the 5-star properties, and the scale bar, which shows us what 8 kilometer looks like, we have a series here, in this case 3 major targets of well-defined geochem responses that are outlined by soil, deep auger, and small mining activity. And these are walk-up and drill targets. We plan to start drilling in the first quarter of 2010, and we'll probably begin on the 5-star, but there are some really important opportunities here. As we begin to get more familiar with the area, with our drilling and trenching programs, we will continue doing systematic work further west and to consolidate our targets into the other licenses, including Kaliakou, Baramida North, and Wana West. This is one of the most exciting gold projects I've seen anywhere because of the size and coherency of the anomalies and the geological importance of some of these structures. This is a geological map showing where some of these small minor workings and some of the major geochem anomalies are. It's always important to bear in mind the size and the intensity of these responses. It means that our technical risk at this stage is quite moderate. We just need to get on with the job of drilling them. 25 shows the license areas of Mazuwaki, an area where there was funded by Val Gold with a back-end provision from Newmont, one systematic geochem survey showing 500-meter space lines, 50-meter space samples, and strong responses, in this case palladium. What I want to point out is that the grid, although it covers a large area and it has some very compelling responses, it covers only about 20% of the targets. We can see here 4 horizons within what we believe is a layered mafic intrusive complex with profound enrichment in palladium, platinum, gold, and in some horizons, nickel and copper. And then the next slide shows us the copper responses and the nickel responses. And what's quite compelling is the strength and the continuation of the copper responses and the correlation with the precious metals. We like this geologic setting. We like the size and coherency of the anomalies. And Mazuwaki, on the basis of this data, represents a high-priority target for our projects. This is where a lot of the Mulgravian money will go. This is where a lot of our forthcoming success will come from. This is a geological map of the Marudi district, including the areas that we've highlighted here in red stars, which are the gold targets that we currently control. This area is fairly isolated. It's been the subject of many different studies since the 40s. There's a beautiful camp on slide number 28. You can see the camp, the highland rainforest, the topography. It's cool at night. It's above the malarial zone. It's a nice place to work. It's really a very special opportunity because we're the only ones that are doing major work in there now. This is a geological map showing in yellow the areas that have gold-bearing alluvial workings and gold-bearing alluvial deposits. It also shows in yellow and light yellow the host unit where the gold deposits exist. We have complex folding of a Proterozoic granite greenstone terrain. The host rock is a mixture of chemical sediments, ironstones, and andesites. We believe that the gold deposits are localized in some of these key units, especially the ironstones and the andesites, and they're structurally controlled. We can see 3 major anticlinal features, all of which we can relate to significant geochem targets. This is our exploration philosophy. We have assembled a production contract with a French company named Rexma. Their original agreement required that by the 1st of November, they're in production at 500 cubic meters a day, expanding to 2,000 meters within 2 years. They've performed well. They're importing equipment. They've done their science. They've done their environmental permitting. We've given them an extension until the end of the first quarter of 2010 in order to meet these obligations. What we expect from them is a 10% gross production royalty and the benefit of the work they do to improve the infrastructure and access. This is a beautiful way to leverage what we know, and once they're up to sustained production, it'll also provide us with a substantial injection of funds for our exploration programs. Our bedrock exploration targets will focus on the west limb of the Marudi anticline, the Missoula Hill resource, which we feel we can expand, and a number of other targets which are based on geochem and small minor workings. And very important, the oxide breccia zones, which are large, which are IOCG in style, which we feel are potentially a major new frontier for discovery. We'll show you some pictures of those later on. We've